cessationism deception? My family thinks spiritual gifts are wrong. Yes, cessationism is deception. If you don't know what cessationism is, it basically means the gifts aren't moving anymore. They died with the apostles, spiritual gifts. Deliverance isn't happening. God is not using his miraculous power through people to heal the sick. Now, cessationists, to be fair, believe God does still heal and do stuff, but not through people. The problem with cessationism is it's not in the Bible. That's the problem. It's unbiblical. It's a false doctrine that's created by the devil. And it's not in the Bible. The gifts of the Spirit, they're not the gifts of the apostles. So how could they cease with the apostles if, number one, they didn't start with the apostles and they can't end with the apostles? Cessationism is a false doctrine. I had Dr. Brown on once, and he's a legit theologian. And I said, can you give me one good argument for cessationism? He said, there is none. There is none. I did a whole stream on cessationism and I struggled. I'm like, I can't even talk more than 10 minutes on it. There's nothing in the Bible on it. Because I tried going into what do they believe? What scriptures do they have? And I couldn't make a video on it because they don't have any scriptures. There's like one that they try to use that's clearly not about spiritual gifts ceasing. It's about when Jesus returns, we won't need all these spiritual gifts. So let me give you some verses since they don't have any. I'm going to give them some, all right? Since your family, now is your family wrong? Yes, they are. 1 Corinthians 12:31, earnestly desire spiritual gifts. 1 Corinthians 14:1. I'm sorry, 1 Corinthians 12:31, earnestly desire the higher gifts. 1 Corinthians 14:1, desire spiritual gifts, especially the ability to prophesy. 1 Corinthians 14:12, so with yourselves, since you're eager for manifestations of the Spirit, strive to excel in building up the church. 1 Corinthians 14:39, my brothers, earnestly desire to prophesy and do not forbid speaking in tongues. Okay, so cessationism, it's a joke, it's wrong, it's not biblical, it's dying out. And all the cessationists are like, oh, the charismatic movement's growing. They're mad. They're like making their YouTube videos. The charismatic movement is growing. And it's like, yeah, hello. Because people don't want to hear what God isn't doing anymore. They want to hear about what is God doing in the earth right now. So the charismatics talk about what God is doing right now. Cessationists talk about what God isn't doing anymore. And no one wants to go to church on Sunday and go, today we're going to talk about what God isn't doing anymore. And the mind-blowing thing about it, let me just get off my soapbox. They believe in the power of the devil, but they don't believe in the power of God. They make videos like, oh, the Skittle community is trying to take over the world. The devil's trying to teach our kids. And I agree with them. I'm like, yeah, true. And they believe in all the power of the devil. But then when it comes to the power of God, they're like, oh, God doesn't work through people anymore. Hello? What are you talking? So you believe in the power of the devil. And then they accuse me of talking too much about the devil. I'm like, at least I'm fighting him. You're friends with him. All right. Anyways, I'm going to get that clipped. I just gave all the heresy hunters fresh content. I just don't care. It's a false doctrine. It goes against the Bible. The Bible says this. They say the opposite. So I'm going to go with the Bible. I don't care how educated they think they are. Oh, well, in the Greek, well, in the Hebrew. Listen, you don't even obey the Bible in English, let alone the Greek. Why are you telling me the Greek if you don't even obey just the English interpretation of the Greek? So it doesn't matter what Greek you try to use, what Hebrew you try to use. The Bible makes it clear. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. They happen throughout the book of Acts. They say, well, towards the end of Acts, the gifts slowed down. No, they didn't. The last chapter of Acts, an entire island gets healed. So I'm sorry for all the John MacArthurites in the chat. It's false. It's false. Get out of that tradition, that religion, those modern day Pharisees.